Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So last night, the Suicide Squad trailer, which was first shown at San Diego Comic-Con, due to its release on a very grainy mobile phone, was actually put out there in high definition for us all to see. Very, very interesting stuff indeed. So I'm going to break this trailer down, see what Easter eggs we can find, and also explain exactly who these characters are. But be warned, I will of course be speculating and bringing up a couple of potential spoilers of the movie. So if you don't want any of that ruined for you, just leave the video now, but please give it a thumbs up before you go. So it all starts in a restaurant where Viola Davis, who's going to be playing Amanda Waller, and by the way, great casting right there, is talking to what seems to be a US general and also potentially a US senator about finally managing to capture all the different members of the Suicide Squad, and then her desire to put them together to form a functional team. She's then quickly reminded, of course, that these people are criminals and how on earth is she going to control them? But Amanda Waller in the DCU is a very no-nonsense character. She's got balls of steel. And she says, look, you leave that to me, sunshine. That's where I come into the equation. And also, it gives the US government great deniability should anything go wrong. I mean, who's going to believe a bunch of criminals that's saying they're working for a ghost government organisation? We get our first generic shot at one of the prisons here with "Firm but Fair" written on one of the girders. I think this is actually going to be Belle Reve, where the Suicide Squad themselves are housed. But I do think we're going to see two key lockdown facilities in this trailer. The first being Belle Reve, the second one being Arkham Asylum, which I think is predominantly going to be used in flashback sequences. Meanwhile, the voiceover of the trailer is still that from the meeting going on at the restaurant, and it is mentioned that some of the Suicide Squad members have abilities, which I think is reference to some of the metahumans which are going to be in the group. And what's going on at the screen at the moment, well, you could mistake this for Harleen Quinzel, young woman, blonde hair, but this is actually Cara Delevingne, who's going to be playing the Enchantress. Seems to have a little bit of a break from a regular origin story. In this, she appears to be some sort of cave diver, spelunker, and she's found a chamber which is covered in skulls. Definitely an occultish area. This is likely her origin story, and I'll talk a little bit more about her abilities when we see her start to manifest into the Enchantress later on in the trailer. We then get our first look at Harley Quinn in prison. She is heavily guarded and isolated from the rest of the prisoners. The tone of the trailer also changes very dramatically indeed. No more do we get voiceover from the restaurant meeting. Suddenly we go into a musical interlude. And this kind of almost parodies the Avengers Age of Ultron music, which is the eerie No Strings on Me from Pinocchio. And this time round, though, we have a very disturbing version of I Started a Joke by the Bee Gees. And the first verse of this is very apt indeed. I started a joke which started the whole world crying, but I didn't see that the joke was on me. So there's two major references from this music. Number one, of course, the Joker, who seems to be the main antagonist in this movie. And the second, the fact that the joke is on the Suicide Squad. These are crooks, these are criminals, these are killers, these are people who have caused misery. And yet the joke's on them because they are now expendable cannon fodder for whatever Amanda Waller wishes to do with them. It's during this sequence with Harley Quinn that we get to see Jay Hernandez as El Diablo. It looks like he's going to be playing the third incarnation of this supervillain, Chato Santana. This guy is literally possessed by a demon and forced to act as a spirit of vengeance. So how they're going to manifest this in the movie itself is going to be very interesting to see indeed. We also get our first look as Will Smith as Deadshot, who's also incarcerated at the time, getting jiggy with it, seems to have turned his bedding into some sort of makeshift punch bag. Fair enough, got to keep in shape. We also get a gander for the first time at Adwale Akimoye Agbaji's Killer Croc. Very Hannibal Lecter-esque, this vision, isn't it? His face has been completely muzzled due to the fact he has very sharp teeth indeed, strapped into what appears to be an upright stretcher. A very interesting segment happening next, but I think it's an audio and visual edit here. I don't think the two marry up, because Harley Quinn appears to ask Amanda Waller if she is the devil. I don't think this is correct. I think that bit of audio is literally Harley Quinn speaking to El Diablo, maybe when he manifests his powers for the first time, or she sees his powers for the first time. What is interesting though is the reaction here from Amanda Waller. She is visibly upset. There are tears in her eyes. What is happening here, I'm not sure of. Maybe this is towards the end of the movie. Maybe there have been casualties in the Suicide Squad and she's reflecting back thinking, what have I done? Or maybe there's a relationship between her and Harleen Quinzel before she got incarcerated at Belle Reve. But an interesting little segment from a woman who is completely unflappable in the DC universe. Please do not adjust your sets. I haven't gone crazy. This is a cutaway shot in the trailer. I'm theorizing that this is going to be set in Arkham Asylum, and again is a flashback sequence. There appears to be a fight going on between these guys and the guards. I think these are the Joker's henchmen, and they are breaking into Arkham to break the Joker out. Another flashback sequence, this time with Deadshot as a family guy. This is set around Christmas time and he's with his daughter. It then transitions to him in full costume as he leaps off the top of a building and abseils down. Switches back to Arkham Asylum. Again, I think flashback, more of the Joker's men pushing forward. Looks sadly like Eyeball Man down at the bottom there has bought the farm. What appears to be in the same sequence of events, the guy at the back there is getting absolutely riddled 80s style with bullets, but in the foreground is Dr. Harleen Quinzel before her transformation to Harley Quinn. So this is absolutely a flashback, and again, I think this is in Arkham Asylum. We cut back to the Enchantress as she's taking a bath. This looks like the very first time she's manifesting her powers. She seems to have drawn a pentagram behind her. Her hair has now turned from blonde to brown. When she says the word the Enchantress, she changes into that form. She seems to have control over non-living energy, so she can manipulate things around her, teleport, walk through walls, and because it's all fresh to her, she doesn't have any control. That's why we've got grass coming out of the bath and black water and all that kind of stuff. Very creepy, very cool. Cool shot of the Suicide Squad walking down a derelict street. Also, as well as Killer Croc, El Diablo and Harley Quinn, we also get our first looks at Captain Boomerang and also Katana. Joel Kinnaman pops up as Rick Flag. Now, Rick Flag is the leader of the Suicide Squad when they're out in the field. Although I do have a sneaky suspicion that Will Smith's Deadshot is going to assert his authority as the movie progresses and will probably assume the mantle of leadership as it goes on. But it's not just the Suicide Squad that's going to be conducting these missions alone. It's going to be the Suicide Squad with Rick Flag, plus his squadron of soldiers, and expect these soldiers to pretty much be red shirts. I think they're going to act as the cannon fodder for the villains, but don't discount a couple, maybe three of the Suicide Squad members themselves probably being killed during the course of this movie. They are expendable, and it gives DC the option to rotate some of the cast members as well. Another flashback to Arkham Asylum. On the right hand side, Dr. Harleen Quinzel. On the left, the guy who she's getting hot and heavy with. I think this is Ike Barinholtz, and he's going to be playing Dr. Hugo Strange, another massive Batman villain. So there are plenty of links to the Dark Knight's universe here, and I do believe that's absolutely on purpose as well. The Joker's henchmen again, wearing some very interesting costumes, including the Batman 2. This is where we get our first glimpse of the Joker, and it's only a quick cameo, but wherever they are, it's not Belle Reve and it's not Arkham Asylum. It's somewhere else on the Joker's agenda. Katana pins Captain Boomerang up against the wall here with Soul Taker at his neck. This is trying to tell you that there's going to be internal squabbles between the group. This isn't a happy-go-lucky band of merry men and women. No, this is a dysfunctional group and there is going to be heads butting as well. First shot of the Enchantress when she's in full psycho garb. Really important image here. One purple glove, white skin, naff tattoos. Yeah, this is the Joker that has Harleen Quinzel strapped down to one of the operating tables. This is going to come back at the end of the trailer, so just bear that in mind. Because we're going to lead on now into the first major spoiler, and Batman is in the movie. Yeah, this is Ben Affleck's Batman, who's going to be turning up in the Batman v Superman movie. I think he's only going to have a small role. Don't expect him to have any pivotal part in the plot. I think he's going to appear in a flashback sequence where he's apprehending the Joker and Harley Quinn on some sort of crime spree. Other than that, they'll get sent to the respective prisons, Arkham Asylum and Belle Reve, and he will vanish from the movie. It's going to be a quick cameo, I feel, and nothing more. Very late in the trailer, we get our first look at Adam Beach's Slipknot character. He's another member of the Suicide Squad. This guy operates off having unbreakable ropes, so practically he does fit very well within this group of people. But it all builds up to this Joker crescendo. One purple glove, naff tattoos, Joker confirmed. Also, it's clear that those weirdly dressed people are his henchmen because the panda with the gun right next to him doesn't seem to be fazed whatsoever by his appearance. And remember when Dr. Harleen Quinzel was strapped down to that chair? I think this is the scene. I think it's her who is on this table at the moment. And the Joker delivers a very disturbing line here. He says, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you. Really, really badly." And he does. He completely breaks her mind, and maybe she even gets some sort of Stockholm Syndrome-esque symptoms as well, which makes her fall in love with him because of it. Jared Leto, all tattoos aside, which to me are still too on the nose and even potentially jumping the shark, delivers the lines brilliantly, and his eyes in this scene just scream crazy. He has the acting chops most definitely to pull this role off. So there we go, that is the trailer. To me, it was very, very exciting indeed. And although the Joker does exhibit these naff tattoos, David Ayers has a difficult job on his hands here. He has to reinvent the Joker character. He can't make it to Heath Ledger, he can't make it to Mark Hamill, and he can't make it to Jack Nicholson or even Cesar Romeo. He has to make something completely different and unique here. And that's one thing you can't fault him for. This is a Joker we've never seen before. I say let's give it a chance because the trailer itself has so much potential. It has got me very, very excited indeed. And if you want to know more about the Suicide Squad, let me know down in the comments below, and also what your reaction was to seeing the trailer itself. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Those links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.